Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us for Inside Tulsa Athletics. Very interesting show, I think, for you today, as we're going to be visiting with two basketball coaches. We'll visit with two wrestling coaches, and then we'll have Mick Wilson, who is an assistant director of athletics, as he talks about the Tournament of Champions. And as always, we'll close the show with Gil Cloud, director of athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools. Think you'll enjoy it. Don't go away. We're coming right back. Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard Rob Biggins, who is the athletic director as well as the head wrestling coach at Webster High School. And Coach, when we take a look at what's going on, where you're the AD, head wrestling coach, and you've got a basketball program going on, kind of bring us up to date on the athletics.
This is the busy time of the year for me, and but it's a good time of the year. Right now, we've got our girls basketball program is starting to come on. They've been working really hard all over the summer and right up until now, and they saw the fruits of that labor just this past weekend. Got a win on the season. Probably going to start rolling a lot more there, so we're pretty proud of the girls. Our boys team, we have had some close ones, some nail biters. We play a lot of 5A and 6A just to get our boys ready for the district and the area and the state tournament. So they've had some success there, but they really had some success at the Sperry tournament. Not only did we win the Sperry tournament against number 3A, or number 8 in 3A, Biggins, I guess it was. We also had the coach of the tournament, Scott Bowman. We had Martwan Taylor was all-tournament player, and then we had Anthony Pritchard. He was the all-tournament player. MVP. So that was a really great weekend for us for basketball, and we're pretty excited about it and just the way that we're going. We've had it was a big shakeup. You know, we lost David last year, and so we're a much smaller team, but man, are we fast and can jump high. So Coach Bowman's really made a lot of those changes that needed to be made, and we're running a different offense. I wish I understood it and I could tell you about it, but it's just too fast for me, and apparently too fast for everybody in the Sperry tournament.
Well, I tell you what, that's fun to watch when kids play that way, with the determination they play.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's move over into wrestling. What is happening in the world of wrestling?
Well, there's not a whole lot of us, but doggone, we're tough. We are super double tough. Real excited. We've got Ryan McClary at 106 for us this year. He comes from the McClary family, who has 3 brothers, Clint, Bubba, and his dad, Michael. Multiple state champions here at Webster, so that's pretty exciting to have him here and see if we can get him up on the wall as a state champion as well. He competed at 113 this weekend and did a good job, so he'll get down at the first of the year to 106, and then he's just going to be a blockbuster. He's going to be tough to stop. We go up to 113, and we've got Daniel Davis. He's a freshman, as is Ryan McClary, so we're real young. But he went 4-2 with 4 pins this weekend. Did a real good job. 120, we've got Jordan Retke. He's a sophomore, again, another young kid. He's working real hard. We expect big things from him in the next couple of years. Then up at 132, we have got Clayton Smith, our only senior, and he is tough. I'm talking athletic and tough. Stand on the top of this table and do a backflip and never move the table.
Wow.
It's super athletic. Did a real good job this weekend. He ended up 3rd. He was at 138, but he'll drop to 32 after the first of the year. Then we've got at 285, we have Quentin Sewell. His brother, Donovan Sewell, was the Billy Don Walker Award winner last year, and Quentin is taking his place at 285. He placed 3rd, pinned both of the guys that he wrestled. So he did a real good job, and I expect that we're going to see a whole lot more pins from him. We've got Kevin Griffith is in and out for us right now, and we're hoping he's going to be in this week with us as we take on Hale this Thursday. But Kevin's going to be either at 182 or 195, and he's a real thinking man's wrestler. He's always doing everything right. So I like who we got. I wish we had more, but I don't know. Sometimes it's a tough sport. It's a real tough sport.
Well, it really is. Do you have it going down into the feeder program in junior high?
Well, we've got a couple of junior high kids. We used to have a whole lot more. I've been chasing them down. I guess I'm going to have to take my net with me to get them back down into the room because it's just so demanding. It's a very demanding sport, and a lot of times it demands a lot, and it's tough to get that response.
But Rob, as I have looked and followed wrestling recently, it seems like that it is becoming more popular than it was just a few years ago, which I like because there's so many kids that can wrestle that they couldn't play. They couldn't play basketball. Maybe they couldn't even play soccer, but they were competitive and they could wrestle.
Well, that's the thing. Basketball, they're going to take 12 guys on the road with them. That's all they're going to take, and that's all that's going to suit up. I can take 50 with me if I want to, and I'm all in the tournament. So any tournament that we go to, we just pay a little extra, and everybody gets to wrestle. So if you want to compete, you want to do something, you want to be a part of something, and you know you're going to suit up, wrestling is going to be your sport.
Well, listen, we want to wish you the very best of luck. We're running out of time here, and it just seems like that you are so enthusiastic about the athletic program at Webster that it certainly is going in the right direction, and we'll be following you.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. When we come back, we're going to visit with Juan Yu. He's the head girls basketball coach at Edison High School. That's next, Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
My dad's always saying a little extra effort now will really pay off later. Here's how you can put in just a little extra effort and help out our schools in a big way. Just switch your checking account to TTCU. It's easy, and every time you use your school pride card, TTCU donates to our schools. So far, over $1 million. They're the only ones doing that. So make the switch to TTCU and be the person who's making a difference for our schools.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue visiting basketball, and we want to welcome aboard the head girls coach at Edison, Juan Yu. And Juan, when we take a look at the Lady Eagles of Edison, you are now 5-3, over 500, so seems to be everything's coming your way.
Yeah, you know, we always think we can do better, but 5-3 right now, we accept that. That's what this season is about. You know, trying to win majority of your games, but we know sometimes, you know, you have to lose. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the main thing about losing, we want to make sure we learn from our mistakes.
Well, tell our audience about your 5 wins and 3 losses and the tournament. You've gone to a tournament. Tell our audience about what has happened in those games.
Well, from the onset of the season, you know, we were just basically trying to build on team chemistry. We have a good core group of girls who've been playing with each other all summer long. We had a successful scrimmage. We just want to carry good team chemistry into the season. We started off against Noah, against the home school, very tough team. We was able to come out victorious against that team. Then we moved into the Bishop Kelly tournament. We had a setback in the Bishop Kelly tournament, which, you know, which sometimes is expected because, you know, you're playing against top 6A teams, top 5A teams, and good 4A teams. And I told my girls after the setback, you know, this is something we can learn from. You know, when you're confronted with adversity, how are you going to carry yourself after the adversity? Are you going to put your head down, or are you going to keep your head up and keep moving forward?
Well, when you take a look at your kids this year, it always seems to me like in visiting with coaches that you have some kids that when you first started, you were kind of, you just really didn't know how good they were going to be. And as the season progressed, suddenly they fall into what you want. Do you have some kids that have really come around like that?
Yes, absolutely. We have 3 junior guards. You know, I had them since their freshman year. So this is their time to shine. And since we have a solid group of girls, I just want them to play team basketball. Because sometimes when you got 5 scorers out there, there's not enough basketballs.
You're right.
So what we have to learn is share the ball. Anyone on this floor can put the ball in the basket. Share the ball. Know when it's a good shot. Once we learn how to do that, I think we'll be very dangerous.
You know, Juan, you've brought out a point there that I talk a lot about, and people look at me and frown. But it seems like that when you watch on the college and the pro level on basketball anymore, that once a player gets his or her hands on the ball, they go. Mm-hmm. They just go until they shoot it or lose it. And they don't have that old passing, moving, get open, good shot. They don't have that philosophy, do they?
No, sometimes they forget about that. You know, sometimes, you know, players think they have to do it all by themselves. You know, they probably was the best player on the AAU team or best player in their junior high team. Well, now you're on the team where all the girls on your team can play. So you don't have to do it by yourself. You can create for your teammate. And when they score, the whole team scores.
Juan, who do you play after Christmas and the tournament that you're in after Christmas, and how does it look as you go toward playoffs?
Well, you know, we're in the Green Country Conference, so obviously we have to play the Green Country Conference teams after Christmas. The tournament we're going to participate in is the Port City Classic. That's in Tulsa. We participated in that tournament last year. There's always good teams in that classic, and we're looking forward to that tournament because we need to redeem ourselves from the last tournament we participated in.
How does your schedule look? Is it coming where you're going to have to play a bunch of the tough teams real quick?
No, it's kind of later into the schedule, which I like because it kind of set us up for the playoffs. So when we play those challenging teams late in our season, that would kind of give us the competitive edge that we need to be successful in the playoffs.
Well, you know, you bring out a good point there because over the years, the Edison girls have been very good and competed for state playoffs and state championships. But seems like you're having to rebuild that, and it is coming around, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the year. This is the year. I told my girls, there's no excuses. We need to get the job done. And they accepted that message. They're playing with pride. They're playing with a sense of urgency. Like I said, I got 3 junior guards who I had since their freshman year. The time is now.
What player do you have that at the beginning of the year you didn't feel would be where she is today?
I have a player named Mackenzie Davis. She's a junior. She's one of the junior guards I was talking about. You know, she didn't get a chance to play her freshman year and sophomore year due to injuries. This year, she's injury-free, and she's out there playing very hard. You can see the success that she's having from the effort that she's putting in. So I'm pretty happy about how she's playing.
Does the feeder program look good coming up?
Well, not for next year because all the junior high players we have at our feeder program are 6th graders and 7th graders, and they playing up. So the 6th graders are playing 7th grade, and the 7th graders are playing 8th graders. So for our feeder pattern, not this year coming up, but probably the year after next.
Well, Juan, I want to wish you the very best of luck and keep those girls going and keep those W's coming up on the board.
Thank you.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. When we come back, we're going to visit with Gary Roberts. He's the Assistant Athletic Director and the head wrestling coach at East Central High School. That's next, Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff. Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we bring aboard Gary Roberts, who is the athletic director and head wrestling coach at East Central High School. And Gary, when we take a look at what's going on in athletics as a head wrestling coach at this particular time, you are one busy man.
I sure am. I got either a basketball game or a wrestling match. It seems like 2 or 3 times a week. So, yeah, it's definitely keeping me busy. My wife, she goes with me a lot, so that helps.
Well, kind of tell us about what's going on at East Central in the athletic department, and then we'll come back and talk about your wrestling team.
Well, right now we have winter sports. We have girls and boys basketball. Our girls basketball team, I think, is ranked 3rd or 4th in the state. They've only lost 1 game. We expect a great year out of them. You know, they've had a great tradition of winning in the past, and I think those girls are ready just to keep going with that. They'll be in the Tournament of Champions here December 28th, and that'll be at the BOK Center. And so we'd like for everybody to come out and support them. They always usually have a good turnout to to support those girls, and they always do real well in that. And our boys basketball, they're also doing real well. They had a tough year last year, but this year they really seem to be having a great year. They've beat some good teams this year. They beat Ponca City the other day, and they did pretty good in the last tournament they was in. And I expect they're going to do good this year. I'm kind of surprised.
Well, as the athletic director, you like to see that happening because really a lot of it can fold over into other sports. If one team is winning, the other wants to. Well, kind of go down on your wrestling, the kids that are doing well, the kids that you expect, and then maybe about some of the kids that you didn't think was going to make it or to be someone who would be adding to the success of it that really are doing it this year.
Okay, I have 3 seniors. One of my seniors is Dayon Marshall. He's 145, maybe he'll go 152. He's been wrestling 52. He thinks he's going to go down to 145, but he took 2nd place at the Altmoggy tournament. And then this past weekend, he went to the Tulsa Duels where he didn't lose a match. I think his record's like 8-1 right now. He's doing pretty good. Our heavyweight is John Daniel, and he's a senior. He won the Altmoggy tournament, and he lost 1 match this weekend at the Tulsa Duels. But he's doing real well too. He's not got a lot of experience, but he's a big, strong kid. He's a full 275, and just a great kid, working hard, and I expect him to maybe qualify for state and have a great year. And one other senior we have would be Sir Little John, and he just got out of football, so he's a little rusty right now, but I expect him to get on track here back pretty quick. And a couple of my new guys that I have is a couple of new freshmen, Brandon Hernandez, and he's a little Hispanic kid, and he has really taken to the sport and really likes it. He's done some MMA stuff in the past, so he wants to get that wrestling background. But he's just, I mean, he's flourishing. He's getting better and better every single day, and we're really excited about him and his future. And then one other one I have is a kid, his name's Cecil Hernandez. He's sophomore, and it's his first year, but he's a real strong kid, and he's picking it up really fast, and we expect him to have a pretty good year as well.
Your Spanish kids that are coming in, are they catching on to wrestling?
Oh yeah, the ones I do get, they like it. They're excited for it. They're built for the sport. You know, they're go-getters. They have a lot of pride, and they don't like to lose, and they like to work hard. And I mean, it's exciting watching those kids. I really enjoy coaching them.
I started to say, as a coach, that's what, regardless of whether they win or not, when they come with that attitude and that desire and that energy, it just gives you the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It rolls right over to the rest of the team. They watch those guys. They give it everything they have, and we really like to see that. Well,
Gary, what do you have coming up down in junior high?
Well, we've finally got that going pretty good again. Chilton Lamho's the youth coach, and I've been working with the athletic director over there, Tony Dix, and he's sent us several 7th and 8th graders this year, and there's really 3 or 4 really good 8th graders that I'm kind of excited about, and it's kind of getting the program going again, and I look forward to the future over there.
Well, I started to say, you seem to be really thinking positive about what's going to happen in the future, and when the coach is thinking positive, suddenly the kids start thinking positive, and that spreads to others, and the program comes back to where you want it to be.
Absolutely, JV, absolutely.
Well, as we go through this sort of thing, do you see anything that you really would like to do that could help you more than anything else maybe?
I'll just keep putting time in. I show up every day. I'm always on time and at work, and just work with those kids as best I can and just keep teaching them, you know, each and every day and just get a little bit better every day. That's our goal, just to get 1% better every day and work towards being good citizens and just, you know, good discipline and good habits.
Well, when you work them every day, that's after school?
No, we go 7th hour. It's within the school day, you know, the last period, and then we stay after school a little while, and then, of course, the meets are in the evenings. So, yeah, it's during school and after school. Yeah, usually we have tournaments on the weekends, and then every now and then we'll have some camps or stuff like that, technique camps on the weekends.
Well, Gary, I want to wish you the very best of luck, and we'll be following the wrestlers at East Central.
All right, thank you, JV.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. When we come back, we're going to visit with David Winton, head boys basketball coach at Rogers High School. That's next, Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head boys basketball coach at Rogers High School, Coach David Winton. And Coach Winton, when we take a look at what's happened at Rogers High School this year, you're 5-2. You've lost 2 games. That puts you going before Christmas. That's good.
That's real good for us, yes.
Who have you lost to now?
Bishop Kelly and a really good team in the Cleveland tournament, Metro Christian.
And they're a good team.
Very good, yes.
Who have you beaten?
Well, we've beaten Edison to start the year off with. Elk City came from the west side. We beat those guys. We beat a Cushing team last week.
When you play people outside of Tulsa, that's good.
Yes.
That you beat someone not in the Tulsa Public Schools because you play them, you get to know one another, the players get to know one another, and when you go out and play an outside team and you win, then the kids are coming together. Talk about some of the players that really are playing good for you now that maybe back the 1st of October, you didn't know they would be this good.
One of them is my seniors. His name is Chris Miller. He came off the bench for us quite a bit last year, but this year we have emphasized the defensive side of the ball, and he has just taken over the rebounding responsibility, and that's probably the most significant difference between this year and last year.
You talk about defense. What defense do you play?
Well, what we do, instead of sitting back on our heels and let the opponent run what they want to run, what we do is we go out and we be aggressive. We make the calls. A lot of times what we do is that we'll switch defenses right in the middle of their offensive set. So, for example, if they want to run man, we'll back off into a zone. As soon as I hear a zone call, we might go man. A lot of times we double. It's based upon rotations, and the kids spend a lot of time, and they're getting really, really good at it.
Well, I started to say, it seems to me like in doing that, I've done that kids take it as a challenge. They want to do it and they want to fool the team that they're playing. Exactly. So if they're able to do it, they play it a lot better.
Yes, sir. And their instincts are really, really good. So I think it's going to be a really good fit for us, what we do.
Talk about the tournaments. Have you been to a tournament and where you are going?
We just completed the Cleveland tournament, which we finished 3rd. And then we're getting ready to go after break to the Uligal tournament. Very tough tournament over there.
Well, if you finished 3rd, you won 2 games.
Yes, we did.
And if you win 2 games out of 3, you're having a pretty good year. Who are you going to play at Uligal?
We start off with Uligal, and then we're on the same side as Pryor, and so we're going to have our hands full when we go there.
When you take a look at the conference here, the Tulsa Public Schools, how are you going to do against the other teams in Tulsa?
It's a dogfight every night. If we don't come in be prepared and organized and play at a high level, we're going to get ran off the floor. I mean, there's just so many athletes. All the coaches have well-coached teams, so you have to be ready. Every time you play at TPS school, you have to be ready. How does your kids rank according to classification? Seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen coming up? I really like my senior bunch as far as leadership. Mm-hmm. They spend a lot of time at Rogers. They spend a lot of time in the gym doing things correctly. My junior bunch, I have one young man who's probably, in my opinion, one of the best athletes in TPS, so that's exciting for us. My sophomore class is just absolutely loaded with good basketball players. One of them starts for me at this time, Markel Johnson. And then our freshman class this year is very, very athletic. Well, you got some good kids coming on then. We're very excited for the future, yes. Well, when you take a look at the feeder program going on down, what do you have going on down that would be coming up in the junior high? Well, currently in our junior high, we just started our program. So at this time, we just haven't built that yet, but that's coming. Most of our kids come from the feeder schools or the junior high programs in Tulsa. Do you think you'll have any problem keeping them at Rogers? It seems like sometimes that kids get to doing well and they have a relative someplace else and they go to that school. What is the situation like that at Rogers? Well, Rogers is a wonderful school. First of all, you have to have very good grades to get in. Second of all, we push our kids to go to college. And right here, I'd like to brag on my senior bunch. All three of my seniors that start have already been accepted to their college. That's what we're most proud of at Rogers. But just the opportunity to be able to go to college, I think, is our biggest selling point at Rogers. Well, that's a great selling point, and that's something that, as you talk to the young kids coming up and they remember those kids, that academically, that'll help them, doesn't it? Yes, sir. I believe so. Well, as you take a look at what is happening, is there anything that you might want to add to your program after Christmas that would make it even better? The only thing is just what everybody else struggles with is financially. We are such a large school. We're going from 4A to 5A that we just need more facilities. And that's just not for the basketball program. That's for the entire athletic program. We would love to have an activity center there at Rogers. And there's a lot of talk about it. It's just there's just things that are outside of athletics that need to be taken care of first. Well, David, we want to wish you the very best of luck at Rogers High School and hope to see you advance in the state playoffs. Yes, sir. Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. When we come back, we're going to visit with Scott Bowman. He's the head boys basketball coach at Webster High School. That's next, Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education, what are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we bring aboard the head boys basketball coach at Webster High School, Scott Bowman. And Scott, when we take a look at what's happened with the Webster Warriors, it seems like you've got a very young team, but they are doing well.
Well, we're picking up some momentum. We started a little slow this year. First year I've had quite a few go out for football, so we were a little sluggish early in the season. We had a good tournament though this weekend at Sperry and got back to 500. We're 5-5. First couple games were really good teams. When you're playing Memorial, Jinx, and Edison, those are top 10, number one, top 10 teams in the state right there. So we're all right. As long as like I say, no championships are won in this time of year. They're giving out in March, so we're just trying to get better within each week.
Well, now tell us who you beat at Sperry, winning the tournament, and that really puts you on a good. I think it's just a boost going into the Christmas holidays.
It does. It gives us good momentum. We've got 2 games this week. We play Hale on Tuesday and then Jinx again on Thursday at Jinx. And we needed these 3 wins. They were big. I mean, the first game we played was Glenpool, and we went there, we scouted them. We knew quite a bit about them, and I mean, they're pretty good too. They went on and won 2 more games after that first round game, and our defense was the best we've probably ever played. I mean, I think we held them to like single
was it
digits
man
in each
or
quarter.
zone?
It was man, but everybody, they don't need no scouting reports on us. We're basically going to run a man unless they take us out of it. Next game we played was Grove, and we kind of jumped out on them again. Both those games we were 30 up at multiple times. Grove has an unbelievable player, fought back and got it back to where I think we ended up winning by 8 or 9 or something like that, but they're a very talented 5A team. And then, or 4A. And then we got in the finals with Biggs, and I'm glad they're not 4A because they're talented. But we held on. I think they tied it up late, and we ended up winning by 5, but we had the lead most of the way, and they're a good team. But the guys are just playing well. They're just, you can tell they just kind of, it took about 10 games to get them going, and they're doing all right. So I'm excited for this week and then get some good practices over break and get in the second part of the season.
Well, you know, when you win a tournament like that the week before you get out for Christmas break, that really can leave you with a lot of positive attitude, unless they come back and lose 2 in a row.
That's true. We better hook it up this week. I mean, we want to get back. We played Jinx early in the season, lost by 1, and kind of missed some opportunities, missed some free throws that could have done at the end. You know, they were, although Jinx was ahead most of the game, we was right there 2 or 3 points back and forth. But we can get some redemption on Thursday. And we've got Hale. We're practicing for them today and get that game. If we can get a win there and a win at Jinx, I'll be very happy with 7-5 at the break.
And Scott, this is such a small team. How have you gotten those kids to play so good?
The defense, they just go hard. That's the good, you know, because we're undersized everywhere. Little sophomore guard, Martwan Taylor, he's probably not 5'9". He's getting 7 8 rebounds. You'll just see these little arms reach up in front of all these other guys and come down with the ball. So he's pretty amazing to watch on defense out there. And Pritchard's offense and ball handling, I mean, he's very special. You don't get too many Anthony Pritchards come along, so we're glad that they're gelling together good. Martwan and Anthony, and then our role players doing a good job. Good athlete in Tawan Pryor, he plays well. So it's a good group of kids. It's pretty fun to watch. I mean, practices are good and hard, and it's exciting. I'm happy. So.
Well, you know what goes through my mind when you're talking about this, that your practices have to be a lot of fun for you as a coach, because sometimes they're not fun.
Right.
But it seems like if the kids are working that hard, it just absolutely makes you happy.
I know.
And
we just know because, you know, defense will always be there. I mean, most of our practice focus around defense because, you know, the kids on their own, they're going to work on their offense. They're going to shoot when they get in the gym, but they're not going to work on their defense. So practice time, we spend a lot of defense in the rotations we want and everything. And it shows in the games because we played some good defense these last 3 games. That's basically what won the games for us.
And you only have one senior?
One senior right now. There's one that's having to sit that'll be eligible at the end of January. That's a pretty good ball player that because of moving and transfer and stuff situations last year. But we'll have him back. He'll be a starter coming in. So we'll be, you know, we're going to get a little boost here in a couple weeks. So.
Well, yeah, you seem to be very happy about what's going to be happening after the turn of the year when we get into January.
Right. Yeah. I think we'll surprise some teams. You know, come later on in the season.
Is this having an impact down to your feeder program?
Yeah. Oh, our junior high. I don't know what the last I heard. The junior high was like 4-2 boys, and I can't remember the last time we had a winning record. You know, Coach Owens is down there doing the 7th and 8th graders, and they're doing great. He said it's, you know, not as talented as a group as he's had, but just what I'm talking about, my boys, they go hard. You know, no matter the size, we're undersized in there too. Tulsa World guy came up and talked to me after one of the games at Sperry and said, "Man, I watched y'all warm up. I thought it was a junior high team." He said, "Well, you guys can play because they're scrappy and go hard, you know."
Well, I tell you what, when you take a look at it from the standpoint of Webster and being the west side, that's got to create a lot of pride.
Oh, it is. I mean, this is like a little community over here, you know. And we've always, since I've been here, it seems like a family, you know. And I mean, it's still that way. We break out about every practice and family, you know, when we break out. So they're all, you know, best friends and have a good time on the court, and it shows with wins.
Well, we just have a few seconds left, but do you start looking at this time toward maybe a possible playoff?
That's everything we're doing is preparing for March. Yes, sir. And, so we plan to be there.
And you'll be looking at, you're in 4A.
We're in 4A, yeah. We were state semifinals last year. We'd like to do a little better this year, so we'll see.
Well, Scott, we want to wish you the very best of luck and certainly hope to see you play.
Thank you, yeah.
Okay, stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. When we come back, we're going to visit with Eli Brown, assistant AD and head boys basketball coach at Central High School. That's next, Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click, TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
My dad's always saying a little extra effort now will really pay off later. Here's how you can put in just a little extra effort and help out our schools in a big way. Just switch your checking account to TTCU. It's easy, and every time you use your school pride card, TTCU donates to our schools. So far, over $1 million. They're the only ones doing that. So make the switch to TTCU and be the person who's making a difference for our schools.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the Assistant Athletic Director as well as the head boys basketball coach at Central High School, Eli Brown. And Coach Brown, when we take a look at what's going on in basketball, you've played 8 games, you're 6-2. Tell our audience about who you played and the whole 9 yards.
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. And we've played some really good competition. Our 2 losses have come to Stillwater, 6A team that's very well coached, and Putnam City Original, who is another team that's very well coached. And both those teams are sitting in the top 15 in 6A. And so we don't feel too bad about those losses, but we've learned a lot from those 2 losses. We've also played Edison, and we've played McLean in some other conference games. And we've really grown together with this team, and we're trying to continue to take those steps forward.
When you lose to a good 6A team like you did there, will the kids grow from that? Do they mature from that? So many times, I think a loss does more for the team than a win. Now, you don't want very many of them,
right,
but periodically that happens. Would that be a case here?
Well, we like to say we don't lose, we learn. And so we try to learn from those mistakes that were made in those losses. We try to mature, like you just mentioned, and we try to get better from the things that we know we can correct. Some things are just, you can't coach height and you can't coach speed, but we try to correct the things that we can correct. We're kind of young as well, so we bring back 4 guys from this year's team next year. So we look forward to try to learn and get better.
When you take a look at the team, how much has it improved since you started practice back at the beginning of school, and then with all of the kids after the end of football season? Now we're getting ready for Christmas break, and you've played 8 games. How many games you have this week?
Well, we have 2 big games this week. We have East Central tomorrow, and then we have the Juggernaut Memorial on Friday. And then before our break is officially over, we play in a tournament in Mustang, Oklahoma, which is another 6A loaded tournament with Mustang and Midwest City and Wausau. And so we try to load the schedule up so come playoffs, we've seen everything.
Well, when it comes down into January and February, you're not going to be playing 2 games a week. That's going to give you more time to prepare for the district regional play. That may be a good schedule.
Well, yeah, and it's tough. And so our kids can look back, and also you can refer back to those tough games when you're in your game. So you call a timeout and say, hey, guys, we remember this. We went through this earlier in the season when we played a Midwest City or a Mustang or a Stillwater. So you can kind of refer back to those things when practice gets tough and kids kind of look at it and say, I just don't understand what's going on. Yeah, you do. We've been through this already. So those are the reasons why we try to load the schedule up, to try to make sure that our playoff run will be deep and that we can have some familiarity once we start playoffs and go through it.
I hope my memory is correct, but you practice
better
early
than
in
mine.
the morning?
Yes.
Now tell us about that.
We were going in October and part of November. We were going at 6 a.m. And it was more to try to help our kids mature and understand what it's like to go to work every morning, what it's like to have to be on time, and to kind of do something different than what's always been done. And it's really helped improve our kids' focus. It's helped improve their maturity, and it's also helped improve us coming together as a family, because at 6 a.m. it's pitch black outside and they're in the gym working. So it's been good for us.
Well, I couldn't help but think, if you get up at 6, they're up before 6. Let's say they're up at 5:15 in order to get there. as a result of that, they have to go to bed earlier, don't they?
Right.
I mean,
they have to put those phones up
so
and go to bed.
If you get that habit going,
Yes.
and that carries on through the entire season, that makes them stronger.
It makes them much stronger mentally and physically. We all know how important sleep is, and to get into bed at a good time and to wake up early and eat breakfast, and all those things matter. And a lot of kids today take those things for granted because, you know, you got everything in the palm of your hand in a smartphone. So, but putting that phone up and going to bed early is great for us.
We have a little over a minute left. Tell us about a player. I'm sure that every team has a player at this particular point in time that maybe is much better than you thought they would be when the season started. Do you have one of those?
Yeah, you know, Jalen Thomas, he's a senior this year, but he's been playing really well. He's about 20 points a game and 7 rebounds a game. He's been leading us from a senior standpoint, and so he's really stepped up. He's coming to his own. He's got some schools calling about him. He's got a couple offers, so we hope that he continues the trend and keeps trending up. But we're proud of his production so far.
Has he had an impact on some of the other players?
Oh, of course, because they see that he's a quiet kid. So they see that he's able to step up and do better and work harder and be more productive. So they all want to kind of latch on and get a piece of that.
Well, Coach, we want to wish you the very best of luck at Central High School. Continue on as the assistant AD, and we hope and pray that the athletic director comes back.
Yes.
But stay with them, and we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. We're back with Mick Wilson, Assistant Athletic Director of Tulsa Public Schools, right after this.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
1 in 5 children struggle with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to understood.org.
We continue Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the Assistant Director of Athletics and the Tournament of Champions Director, Mick Wilson. And Mick, when we take a look at what's happening with the Tournament of Champions this year, how many #1 teams do you have in the boys bracket?
Well, don't ask me how we got that way. It just was really a luck of the draw. We had researched some really, really good teams, but had no idea that the rankings would come out and be so kind to us as they've been. So it's a great field, a great lineup, and it's going to be some really competitive basketball here in the next few days.
How many are ranked #1 in their class?
Well, we ended up at one time or another this year, we've had 6 of the 8 teams have been ranked #1 in each of their classifications, and of course then the other 2 teams have been in the top 5, been 3, ranked 4. Somewhere in that area. So it's going to be probably a really competitive tournament. And I think this year, for the first time in a long time that I can remember, we're going to have a chance to really crown maybe the best team in the state. You'll be able to argue that at the end of this tournament that we have the best team in the state at the Tournament of Champions, and we're going to find out who it is.
Well, you know, I go back to 1966 at the beginning of it. I cannot remember one time, now maybe it's happened, but I can't remember 6 teams ranked #1 in their classification. That's incredible.
Yeah, JV, I can't either. I don't remember it being that good. I think our girls bracket at one time, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we had something similar.
Yeah.
But on the boys' side, it's been a long time, as far as back as I can remember, that it's been this good. And on paper, it looks like the ideal tournament. So we want to cross our fingers that we get some really good basketball games. These are some really good teams and some really, really good coaches. So on the boys' side, on paper, I'm not sure we could make it any better than the way it's come out right now.
You know, when you take a look at that bracket, you have Booker T. Washington in one side, and you have Tulsa Memorial in the other. 2 outstanding basketball teams. But now the smaller class from out in the West, people are telling you again that they got to watch that team.
People are really, really raving about Kingfisher, and I've watched them some on tape. I've not seen them in person, but I've really tried to qualify them the best I can over the last year and a half, and obviously they're coming off a state championship in 4A, and there's people that tell me they think they're the best team in the state. So we're going to find out. I mean, we're going to be in for a real treat. And, you know, that first game with them, I mean, you've got #1 in 4A against #1 in 3A with Kingston and Kingfisher, and that'll be a fun game to watch. I mean, Kingston can play, and they've got the big kid that can really play. So I think that game will make for some real entertainment. But, of course, everybody, we don't need to get too ahead of ourselves because everyone's looking to that second round. But the first day will be a lot of fun, and we're going to find out who can play and who can't on that first day.
Well, I can't help but think that this is going to be one of the outstanding attendance-wise, even though now we've got the football playoff going on during the Tournament of Champions, but gosh, Mick, with football, they show it again as soon as it's over.
They do.
So you can go watch the basketball because you can't see it as soon as it's over, and then go home and sit and watch football.
Well, that's what they. That's why you pay Cox to have your DVR, correct?
That's right.
You just record the game and watch it a little later. So hopefully those folks will get out and see some really good basketball. Again, we're excited about that. On the girls' side, wow, again, some really good teams, some good coaches, some really good local talent. Victory Christian has a really first round tough matchup against Edmond Memorial. And then I tell you, the game that everyone's pointing to on the girls' side will be that first round matchup with Tahlequah, Sequoia, and Bixby. That's going to be a heck of a basketball game. And again, the small class is getting some hype this year. People are telling me they think Tahlequah, Sequoia may have the best girls team in the state. So again, we'll find out. We're going to play those games out and see how the tournament plays itself out.
You know, it's always funny to me that anytime you draw up that bracket, there's going to be a coach or two that is kind of unhappy with it until they kind of look at it a little more serious, and then they say, "Oh, okay, we'll go that way."
Yeah, there's really no easy draws. I mean, honestly, because these teams are so well coached, and they're all here because they deserve to be. Each team in their own right has had a successful season the last couple, and each one of them brings some good players to the table. And so on both the boys and girls side, these teams deserve to be here. We want them to have a positive experience, and the good thing is somebody's gonna win a championship, and then a really good team's gonna leave here 0-3. It happens every year, and it's been a few years, but one of the teams that went 0-3 a few years ago ended up winning their state championship in their class. So it can happen, and they realize that some of the smaller schools realize this is going to be a tall task, but they realize too it's a great experience for their kids. And where can you get the experience of a state tournament or a big playoff game than playing in the Mabee Center during Christmas break?
And you know, I think it would be great. I'm going to do it this year. I say I do it before, in the past, and I haven't. But just to keep a list of the outstanding players, both boys and girls, and see where they go to college and how many of them go on and play major college basketball, because there's going to be a bunch of them.
Well, I mean, most recent right now, people probably do realize this, but we're coming off 4 years ago when we rang the new year in at the Mabee Center because we had a triple overtime game between Owasso and Memorial boys, and we hung on and on the Tulsa Public Schools side and ended up winning that game in triple overtime. But Shake Milton, who's now with the Philadelphia 76ers, played in the Tournament of Champions just 2 or 3 years ago. So we're coming off a lot of talent, and we're coming off some really good players. But that's what makes it exciting, and it makes your job rewarding, and it makes us in Tulsa Public Schools proud to be able to host such a great event.
Mick, during the off months, do you have calls from coaches wanting to get in, or from booster clubs wanting to know what they have to do to get their team in?
I do. I receive a lot of emails and phone calls, and you start trying to sort through those, and then I spend some time. I probably don't get out statewide as much as some of you guys have in the past, but that's the luxury of technology, and be able to use Huddle and be able to watch some of those things online and be able to, to qualify those teams and look and see how good you think they are. I spend a lot of time not only doing that, but I poll a lot of the local high school coaches and high school coaches statewide, and also our Tournament Champions coaches. They'll usually give me a name or two when they're leaving of, hey, this school's going to be really good, and he returns, all sophomores and juniors. So we do some of that, and then I also visit with all our coaches, college coaches statewide. Whether I'm visiting with Shay Sills here in town or Mark Downey at NSU, I've got, since I was on that level for several years, I've got contacts. And so I reach out to those guys and call them, and we talk about some of the players and how good we think they could be. And obviously, not only do we want to have the best teams, but it's always nice to have some marquee players that are going to be heavily recruited as well.
Well, we're out of time here, but I know one thing for sure, that this is going to be, I think, the best Tournament of Champions that we've ever had. I want to pat you on the back and congratulate you because you have put it together, and just keep it going.
Well, we're excited about it, and the big thing is, JV, is we want our basketball fans to get out and have a real treat this year. So come on out and watch some great basketball.
I agree. Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. When we come back, we're going to visit with Gil Cloud, Director of Athletics of the Tulsa Public Schools.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to tulsarefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. tulsarefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
My dad's always saying a little extra effort now will really pay off later. Here's how you can put in just a little extra effort and help out our schools in a big way. Just switch your checking account to TTCU. It's easy, and every time you use your school pride card, TTCU donates to our schools. So far, over $1 million. They're the only ones doing that. So make the switch to TTCU and be the person who's making a difference for our schools.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Gil Cloud. And Gil, as we get closer and closer to Christmas, that gets us closer and closer to the Tournament of Champions. And, investing with Mick Wilson, what a tournament we have.
I tell you, Mick's done a fabulous job this year of evaluating the number of schools that we have in, 8 boys and 8 girls. And it is absolutely amazing to me the number 1 teams that we have coming to this tournament. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. More number 1 teams in all classes coming to the tournament this year than in the past 7 years.
Well, the other day I was looking through the magazine that you have, and anyone who doesn't get a Tournament of Champions magazine, you're just missing out on a great kind of a remembrance of the great teams that's been in the Tournament of Champions.
I tell you what, in our booklet, we have all of the Hall of Famers that have been inducted in the Tournament of Champions Hall of Fame. We have all the past records of all the teams from the very first one in 1966, which you were a part of,
oh, yes.
coaching at Seminole, and actually losing to a Class C school, which really set up the David and Goliath situation for us. But and really, the brackets are in there, and of course, then our corporate partners who buy the ad space in there. What a great thing! And there's an added thing this year with our program. We have the Director of Athletics at Central, Tammy Altaffer, who has been in Tulsa Public Schools for 25 years, has leukemia. And teams from Central will be selling the programs at the Mabee Center this year, and we'll be donating all of those funds to Tammy as she goes through this very difficult time. So you're exactly right. You need to pick up a program, if not for just the information, for the sake of one of our good colleagues.
Well, you know what I really enjoy about it? I go back and I begin to look all through the years, and my memory comes back to me.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the things that have happened. But, Mick has done this year, unbelievable. I don't believe ever we've had as many highly ranked teams in both boys and girls as we have this year.
It's incredible, and we get calls all year long. Can we get into the Tournament of Champions? We've got this many returning starters. I have 4 freshmen that played this year, or whatever it is, and it was really interesting because we tried to get Putnam West for a couple of years. Because they've been really, really good boys basketball the last couple of years. And so when they finally acquiesced this year, a good friend of mine is the Director of Athletics for the Putnam City Schools, Dick Balancefin. And I was on Dick and I said, if you guys really want to play real basketball, you need to come to the Tournament of Champions. So Putnam West is in this year, so their coach comes to the press conference that we had 2 weeks ago over at the Marriott, Southern Hills. And after it was over, he goes up to Mick and he says, gosh, this is a real deal. I said, yes, it is a real deal. I think one of the funny things that happened 2 years ago, one of the schools, after they got the pairings, and they don't know the pairings until they arrive at the press conference that day. The coach was a boys coach, and he said, golly, how come I drew this person? I need to talk to Mick. I said, well, go over there. They're sitting right over there. So he goes over there and he said, Coach, he said, how come I drew them? He said, well, who else would you want to play? And he looked down through there and he said, I'll keep this one. Because there's no good choices.
Oh, no.
They're all good teams. They're all number 1 in their classification. They all have a great player. And that's the other thing this year, JV. I think we have more talent, at least on the boys' side, than we've ever had. I mean, Memorial themselves have 4 Division I players. Booker T has 2 or 3 Division I players. The player at Kingfisher, they say is the best player in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Kingston has the 6'11" kid who played last year and scored unbelievably. So I'm telling you, I think every single game is going to be a key mark for the tournament. I think it's going to be fantastic.
And you know, we said this when visiting with Mick, but you just have to encourage everyone who is a basketball fan. Don't pay any attention to the college football games that's going to be on TV. You can keep up with that, but at the same time, to see that many good teams, boys and girls, I can't wait.
Well, that's what I told Barry Lewis when they were talking about on the 29th, when the girls' championship final starts at 7 o'clock. Oklahoma plays Alabama at 7 o'clock. And I said, well, you know, one thing about it, our games are more important.
That's right.
That's exactly right. And if you want to, you can watch it on your iPhone, you know, while you're in the stands watching the game. So, but it's going to be a great week, and we're excited to host the schools that we have coming in, and just hope that everybody comes out to the Mabee Center and enjoys literally 36 hours of basketball, 12 hours a day.
And I tell you what, I've said this so many times, it's such a pleasure to be out there real early in the morning, 9 o'clock, and just know I don't have anything to do except sit here and watch good girls, good boys basketball. What could be better?
What is it Terrell Lester says? What's better than 9 o'clock in the morning with basketball and a box of popcorn?
And I tell you what, when you talk about Terrell Lester, he's been such an important factor in the success of that. And, you know, he always kind of says, well, I wasn't helping much with the first one. Yes, he was. He was doing a lot in the first one, but Terrell is, if you want to know something about it, ask him.
Oh, he's the historian. I mean, he knows all the things, and he's the guy that isolates our Hall of Fame players each year and finds them and talks about everything that they did while they were in the tournament and sets that up. And that's we do that. The girl, the halftime of the girls' game, and the boy, the halftime of the boys' game. So it's a good week. Jen Sanders has been on the show, and you know she has 20 of the 24 halftimes. 2 of those halftimes are the Hall of Fame. So we have 20 of the 22 available with entertainment.
Oh, and that's just incredible. Well, Gil, always a pleasure having you on board here. I had 4 or 5 other things I want to talk about, but time has gotten away. So we'll see you in the Tournament of Champions.
See the Tournament of Champions, and we'll be back in January.
Okay. Stay with us. We're back right after this.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Thanks for being with us today on Inside Tulsa Athletics. Hope you enjoyed the show. And more importantly, we want you to get out and support the boys and girls athletic programs of the Tulsa Public Schools. Without your support, they can't last, and they need athletics. So again, let me encourage you, get out and support athletics in the Tulsa Public Schools, and we will see you, next year on Inside Tulsa Athletics.